would you agree that at least of the professions we've all tried, sales is probably the most lucrative?
Yeah, there's a lot of studies that say it is the most lucrative opportunity in America. That's what they say. It's the highest paid job in America.
Sales in general.
Sales in general.
Now, I've never done any sales that hasn't been lead-based. You've tried some things, but we said this in a video a long time ago that sales without leads is like running through traffic blindfolded.
Yes, we were going to try to do a video like that, but we figured that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a very, very fair analogy.
Got it. And you know, the thing at least that attracted me to sales when I first met you was the idea that I'm going to sit down with a client, help them out with something, and then get paid in the amount you got paid for that interaction, and you helped the client. Like, that was big too. I never wanted to, you know, sell vacuums or Tupperware or things that didn't impact your life, or bait and switch where, hey, get this, you know, safety kit, and then I'm trying to stuff insurance. I love that it was direct and straightforward, but also the fact that you were improving somebody's situation. Mm-hmm. But it also was very lucrative, which is important, right? Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I was doing this to provide for my family. So were you. If the money wasn't coming in, what's the point? But sales is something. Would you say you have to have any type of education, any background to be successful in sales?
No, because I've seen so many people that have no background, have some background, have different backgrounds. I don't think sales has any criteria. Yeah, whether it's educational, experiential, ability. I don't. There is nothing that you can say. People that have done this do well. People that have not done this don't do well. There's no correlation in any of that.
Okay. That being said, what are some traits or what are some things where, whether it's coachability, accountability, where you go, you don't need to have experience, but I'm looking for these things that you're going to need, or some skills you're going to need to learn to be successful in sales?
Well, I mean, it's like anything you do in life, right? Like, you're a parent. You know, if you approached parenting with complete fear, your kids would never respect you.
Right.
And then you'd never, ever really be able to parent them, because they'd be like, man, he doesn't seem to know what he's doing. He's kind of like, he's cautious about everything. He's afraid. Is he really the guy that, I mean, like, I don't know. Even though we're little, like, are we going to follow that dude? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think in sales, this is only lead-based sales. So if you're in, again, you're cold knocking, cold calling, quit and get lead-based sales. I don't have any advice for you other than that, because it's bad return on your investment. Lead-based sales, you have to be able to understand psychologically what people are thinking, right? What's the client thinking? Thinking, I sent you something, I respond to something and send it to somebody I don't know, and that person's going to call me. Okay, what am I looking for when that person calls me? Well, probably somebody that is confident, somebody that is going to take control of the situation. Everybody, I've heard this 1,000 times from people. I don't care if I just want my doctor to be qualified. I don't know if he's got to have great bedside manner. He's got to be my friend. He's going to talk to me. But if my mom goes to the doctor, do I want a doctor that's a really good cardiologist or a really funny guy? Really good cardiologist.
Right.
I don't even care if he talks to me. Be just like, this happened, that happened, this happened, we're doing this. Got it.
Yep.
I don't need him to go, how you doing? How's it been? How's the weather? And I think there's too many people that get into sales and they're so busy trying to make friends instead of make a difference. And it's hard to make a difference when you're only trying to make friends. So it's kind of like, I was trying to make a difference. Yeah. My job is call you up and give you what you asked me for. You know, you fill out a form, you want life insurance, everybody's going to die. Boom, I called. Here I am. What's up?
Right.
And I think that we need more people to understand that. And if you're not going to be that presumptive and you don't take control, the client has to take control. It's like when I worked at the state of Connecticut, when you got a 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 8-year-old kid, they weren't born to be a bad kid, dude. They just have no structure.
Right.
So you get to be older, I get it, different program, but it's like, dude, he's 6. Like, he's off the wall because there ain't no wall at home. Like, you don't tell him to do anything. So people are going to act out. So I think you have to be presumptive. I do think you have to be confident. I do think you have to be direct. And I do think you have to be in charge. None of those are talent-based. Mm-hmm. What you can do is watch people that are good at it and watch what they do. It's the greatest duplicator ever. It's like, okay, what is he doing? He's doing this. Shit, I would do what he's doing. Right. When we first started this deal, dude, I'll never forget, there was a dude named Russ who was like #1 producer. I was like, where is the dude Russ?
Yeah.
Like, he's #1 producer. Where's the dude at? Then I was like, oh, he's training. What time he's training at? He's training. Okay, cool. Let me get in. And I'm about it, bro. I'm like, well, okay. And then I'm like, okay, when he said that. And then I was like, he didn't really tell us a lot on the stage. Let me see if I can ask him some questions. Hey, Russ, when they say this, what do you say? Like, I was about getting the information. I was very, very open to, I don't know what I'm doing yet. You know what you're doing. Talk to me.
Right.
Like, how can you get me to be better at this? I was very into that. So I think that those are things I look for. Like, will you grow? You know, because there's a guy told me forever ago. He's like, here's the client, here's the agent. The client's comfortable sitting there at the dining room table, BSing about nothing. Agent's comfortable sitting at the other end of the dining room table, BSing about nothing. And nothing changes till they start to get uncomfortable. Well, it's the agent's job to get the client to be uncomfortable. Start asking questions like, when you die, what happens?
Right.
What happens to your wife if you drop dead tomorrow? Can she afford this house? Like, that's their job. And if you don't do that and the client remains here, you remain there, you can't make a sale.
Right.
So the bottom line is it's not talent. It's not like you're born with some business acumen. It's, are you willing to challenge are you willing to challenge yourself first and foremost? And then when you're willing to get uncomfortable, it's hard for people to get you uncomfortable because you're already uncomfortable. We used to always joke about the 8 Mile M&M deal. Like, yo, here's my deal. Here's where I'm from. Here's what's happening. Like, what now? And they're like, well, damn, there ain't nothing else to say. He just told us all this stuff to say about him. I'm kind of the same way, dude. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm going to do the best I can. They ask me questions about where I'm from. I'm going to answer them. You know, I'm not going to pretend that something did or did. I'm just going to be open with them, and it takes away a lot of their – it's hard for them to, you know, to start thinking, this guy's trying to sell me something. No, I'm trying to make a difference and do my job. And I think that I learned that by watching, and I didn't have any sales background at all, but I was going to be a great student. I think all those things can make you great at this business.
It's funny, I do these podcasts now, and every once in a while I get a question like, you know, oh, you were director Sean. What was the sales training like? I'm like, you don't understand. It wasn't like, hey, here's the rebuttal for this, and here's how you do this. Your first lesson to me was attitude, activity.
Right.
You control those two. Those are the only two elements in this business that you control. And a lot's changed since we started. We were going out to people's homes, writing paper apps. We get paid 2 weeks later, possibly. Now these guys are calling from their home, making a sale on the phone, protecting their client, getting paid the next day. But those two pieces, those two elements have not changed.
Dude, my dad, and I didn't see him a lot when I was a kid, but when I did, he lived Crystal Ave, okay? He lived Lower Jefferson Ave. Would you consider those great areas?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
My father did not, when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, teach me how to be a great fighter. He taught me to carry myself in a way that other kids my own age wouldn't want to mess with me. He didn't teach me and go, man, put your, you know, get the gloves, or let me just whack you around a little bit. Let me teach yourself. He didn't. His deal was, here's how you keep your head on straight. Here's what you do when somebody makes eye contact with you. Look them square in the eyes, so they know you're not like, you ain't going nowhere. Have no fear, and just keep. That's what he taught me. And again, he wasn't. I don't think he was trying to teach me any. He just wanted me to go to the store, get his orange juice and his paper, and not have somebody steal my $5.
Fair.
You know what I mean? I don't think he was very. I think he was pretty self-serving. Like, I don't want to get out of bed. You're going to do it, and I don't want to lose my $5.
Right.
But in business, that's the program, dude. Right? Why am I going to teach you to have all these amazing rebuttals? And I'll teach you what to say when they say something. But why don't I just teach you to carry yourself in a way where they don't want to give you all these rebuttals? Why don't I teach you to carry yourself in a way where you eliminate a lot of those objections with your presentation from the beginning? What if I teach you how to handle your first 30 seconds on the phone and your first we were in home at the time, your first minute or two in interaction with the people? Like, what if I'm so bold in what I do that you're like, man, I'm uncomfortable doing this. This fool's doing this. And that's why I would share the stories I share, which you've been in the field with me, so you know it's true.
Right.
You've been there. Like, people like, he said that. He said everything I say in the trade, I said. I said it to people on the phone. I said it when I was in the home. And the reality was, I wanted to get so far out of everybody's comfort zone that it made everybody comfortable. Because they're like, if he was just trying to make $1, he wouldn't be this unbelievably comfortable. He's not unbelievably comfortable. He's just trying to make a difference in our lives. He has plenty of leads. He has great activity. Because if your activity is great, it's easy for your attitude to be great. And also, like, once your attitude's bad, dude, you die in this business anyway. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You'll talk yourself into failure.
Right.
100%.
Absolutely.
You know, so I was huge on attitude and activity because it saves everything. And then the other stuff I'll teach you in pieces, but I need to teach you at your core. You can be successful at this, and I want you to carry yourself in a way where, because again, I mean, I brought my kids to karate when they were young, and I remember one of the good instructors, we had some who weren't so good. He's like, this isn't like something I'm paraphrasing, but it wasn't something he was teaching so he can teach. Like, this is your last resort. In sales, your last resort is to be debating an objection.
Yep.
It's not your first. And a lot of people, that's their first.
Right, they lead with it.
No, because you're afraid. That's why. Like, people confidently, I don't have to lead with that.
Right.
Like, I ain't trying to bother nobody today, bro. I'm just trying to go out in my car and get a Diet Mountain Dew. But come on my shit, we got a problem. Like, I'm not trying to bother you, though.
Right.
You know, so I think, but a lot of people, and then they get so emotional. They get so, the client gets them up here. And it's like, dude, he just had a few questions for you. Or maybe he was just evaluating how sincere you were or your confidence level. Or maybe he's having a bad day. He's trying to mess with you. But what he's trying to figure out is, can I rely on you to do what you say you're going to do? And if you crack because I said a couple things you don't like,
right?
I don't want to. You want me to fill out a policy with you and hope that when I die, you get my family a check? Hell no.
Check out the full podcast in the description and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.